that we should have canceled 25 times. Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. I am Crack Palantir, Kevin Manus Pennings. I am your host, your game master tonight. And as always, for Brise's Tale, episode 25, I give you my writerly friend of great skill. I give you Max.
Yeah! Oh, man. Welcome, everybody.
That's right, all you bastards.
Some of them may be actual bastards, Kevin. You can't.
I don't consider that a bad thing.
Good.
I'm
the
very
Game of Thrones universe.
That's right. That's right. So, episode 25, very exciting, and we're in the middle of Brise's Tale. Really, I hope merely 25 episodes. I hope we're at the very
toward the end of Brise's Tale.
That is always a possibility. I hate to say, so last time, Brise is still sort of trying to find her way back, find a road back to town off this mountain. She's sort of lost, but sort of not. She can always teleport back to town because she has a spot memorized, but actually finding a route with her horse back, that's something else. And so these are sort of areas on the edge of a moderate-sized town. And last sort of real threat we came across was several hundred feet back. There is a metal construct in the form of a female warrior. And she is damaged and tangled in the brush. And Brise chose the discretion being the better part of death and got the hell out of there. So she rode for a while through lighter woods on the slope of this mountain, and she came across a sign pointing to a town with an ironworks, as well as back the direction she came from, the that pointed back toward the mansion that she had been sort of exploring the grounds of. An abandoned mansion from an earlier civilization. Clearly, a goblin family had moved in there for a while. But hey, Quinn, welcome back.
Hello.
And good reference there, Quinn. It's always so funny. So now you are at the town, at the sign that points to what is apparently a town and thing. Remind people what the sign said.
Why don't you remind them, Kevin?
Because I don't have my notes out yet. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, so the one sign was pointing back towards the manor, the direction from which I came, which was called Lindrin's Manor, which is nice. I have a name for that now. And the other one is Dalif and Dalif Ironworks. So it's funny you said the town of Dalif and Dalif Ironworks. When I first saw it, I thought it was like Dalif and Dalif, like two brothers, like they own an ironworks.
Oh, I see.
I was thinking
Dalif and Dalif. It's possible. There's no reason to trust me, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I never do that anyway, so.
Right. I mean, I am untrustworthy.
Also, ironworks, there's a metal person attacking me. I'm starting to see the connections here. It's all this elaborate theory.
Yes. We're going to admit it all together.
To life, Black Sabbath's Iron Man. So.
That's right.
Future.
That's right. I'm very interested in comic books, and so I love Iron Man growing up, but I'm also sort of very interested in gender issues and exploitation of women. I'm very interested in exploiting women, but but of course, costuming for women, of course, in the comic books is so, it's so sex driven and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, literally just before we started the stream, I was thinking about those issues. I was thinking about how funny it would be to, start a new sort of comic book company and have all these characters and, be very bold about, my commitment toward having fully clothed females, some skin here and there, but I mean just not the bikinis that they have them fight in.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so have all these heroines and villains, females who are modestly dressed, except that all their outfits are assless. Like it's just this, it's these assless outfits. You see their cheeks, and like even like the armored individuals, like Iron Man, would just have. Well, yeah, no, you can see their cheeks. Of course you can. What? And it would just be,
No secrets here.
That's right. This most elaborate goof, because I have to start the company and pay advertising to get as many people involved.
Well, Obi-Wan Karen shutting you down, so
that's true. It looks like
no period. So
I'm getting some flack from Obi-Wan. Well, that's fine. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And let's talk about what you're doing next, Brise. With your little level 8 self.
I'm striking out towards these ironworks, methinks, or at least towards the town of Dalif.
Yes.
Something here.
I wonder if I can manage to roll my dice here without destroying anything. So Chris is right by my mic. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Any other signs? Anything?
And obviously Laula flying ahead, kind of switching to her vision every now and then.
Sure. So our little songbird familiar, Laula, is out ahead. She spots trouble of an unfortunate nature, which is that the passage you on is becoming just completely untenable. Whatever was here as a passageway, as a road or whatever, we've either missed a turnoff that was meant to go around this obstacle, but now you have an entire shoulder of the mountain, this sudden sort of ridge that runs down, and it looks like it was it looks like it hasn't been here forever, in the sense of it's not a natural part of the mountain, more it's like a landslide.
Yeah.
And now you have vegetation covering it and so on. It's several hundred yards across. So you can send her, of course, down slope, up slope. Nothing like having a a bird to help you navigate. Clint says it's easy to go to the bathroom while in costume. The difficulty is doing so without soiling said costume. And that's a tip for all. That's a tip for all you trick or treaters coming up. If there's any young people watching this, children, teenagers, listen.
There's not enough time. We need the candy. Just go in your costume.
Right, exactly. Though you could just carry 2 buckets. You see, this is the key. One for candy, one for the results of candy, and no problem. So
urine tastes like sugar.
When you're as diabetic as I am. All right. So
let's try to find a way around it, I guess. Carefully trying to find. So I still do have my emboldened steed active,
right?
For another cast that right when I started, when I woke up, basically, and set off. So it's 20 minutes per level, so 160 minutes. So
yeah, so you've got a good ways on that.
Slight bonus to any maneuvers or any fear. My horse might fear something to kind of act against it.
No problem. So the best course you find is a hazardous one, and that is to go down slope steeply until you can come to the come to more level ground that the landslide did not reach, but it's still very steep. It's going to require a lot of very careful riding.
Knowing my character, not really fond of heights and not really confident in their horse riding abilities, I'm going to say, let's find another way rather than risk something like that.
You send her upwards, upslope.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way that goes some distance up. But it has its treacherous spots, but it's not as treacherous as going down. But it's in the wrong direction. Of course, the other thing you can do is turn around and see if you can ride past the construct.
Yeah.
Now, I don't like to get very mechanical in the game, but I do want to let you know in terms of how you feel about fighting on horseback. And that's interesting. I never thought about adding that to the character sheet. Maybe I should add that to the character sheet.
Yeah. I mean, if I don't feel comfortable riding, don't think I'm very skilled at riding a horse. Combat can't be better.
Yeah. That is the correct conclusion to reach for how you feel about it. It's perfectly possible. It's not like fumbles increase and things like that.
Yeah.
But your effectiveness is much less. Now, you could try a full-on charge if the creature has gotten free. I'm throwing out possibilities.
So my concern with returning to the construct's territory is that I saw that emblem on it. I have to assume it's meant to protect the house. I mean, this thing could be pursuing me while I'm in the vicinity of the mansion, which could be, I don't know, a long time.
Right.
So that is even riskier.
Right.
So if I went upwards, I guess I could start just going the upwards route and then see if I could find a way back down onto the path. It sounds like.
Now you do have, the guys are saying you're freezing a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I saw you just drop from red and then hop back to green on my monitors here. But I'm not sure. I mean, we know it's probably beyond your house.
I can switch back to 480 if it keeps happening. So.
Okay.
Yeah, just let us know if it keeps happening consistently, and I'll try to drop the quality if that helps.
Thanks for letting us know, guys. We'll see if we can resolve it by going to a lower resolution. It also means the quality of his decisions will be lower, which is hard to imagine. But it's just how the internet works.
Jump off.
Oh, I know someone who hates that. I shouldn't do that. So you also have a spell, Bridge of Light.
Oh, that is true. Bridge of Light. Would Bridge of... It's always such a weird spell. It's hard. It's one of those spells that's hard to visualize because it's not... one end needs to rest on something, right?
Right.
It's straight. So if I rest it here...
So imagine it as an arc of golden light, okay? Yeah. And so it stretches out and it needs to rest on a second surface. Okay. The great thing about it is that this light, of course, can be tangible or intangible to the people you choose. And so it's really great when you're being pursued. Yeah. Not the case here, but you do have a portable bridge of, what is it now, almost 30 feet.
And if it could curve, I guess I could manipulate it to try to bridge the landslide.
Well, what I'm wondering if you can get on top of the landslide and then kind of maybe pick your way across the landslide, and then arc another one at the end, and then so the first thing I guess would be to send Lowla to see if there is a decent path through the rocks and boulders.
Yeah.
She flies over it. It seems about as dangerous as as hit and miss, spotty as the upward path.
Okay.
You can always lead the horse. You just can't make it drink. I'm going to say that before Quinn posts.
Oh man, decisions. What if we go take the path upwards, try to, and then try to do a bridge down? If I could see where the path, like how wide can allow us to see where the path kind of comes back?
Well, you're not really riding through a path. Recall, you have stumbled across a road sign and you found a place that would be logical for there to be a path because it's light, but there are trees everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
There's good space.
I had in my head this was a road, but you're right.
Right. It is certainly there used to be some sort of passageway here, some sort of path or road. Yeah. But that's long fell into disuse, and now you're stuck with very light vegetation.
This shit. Well, yeah. So how far does it seem like until the ground gets level again, like after the landslide? Because my bridge of light can go 80 plus 50. It can go 130 feet. So it's not like crazy far, but
the bridge of light is that powerful?
Yeah, 50 feet plus 10 feet. Or is that range? Sorry.
That's where you can cast it.
Oh,
the bridge can extend 20 feet plus 1 foot per level.
Bridge? Okay, never mind. 28 feet. Okay, yeah, so then I need to.
I'm thinking that could get you up.
Yeah, agreed. Onto it.
And then you know that it's several hundred yards across, the landslide is.
Yeah.
And then there is a gentler level section after that the landslide doesn't extend to, and so you could again use the bridge of light to get off the top of this landslide.
Yeah.
But so she's mapped that path. She went back and forth, and you're like, well, I can go there, then I can go there, then that kind of a thing, and then you can get back to the more level area if you want to continue in that direction. Now, you may just have to give up on the ironworks and say, getting back to town is still the more important thing, and you may need to try the more treacherous route. I don't know.
Well, so my idea was like, if it's an ironworks, then it's going to have more paths that might actually be more well established.
Yes.
So this could be an abandoned path that leads to a bustling town. Who knows? I mean, I haven't seen any smoke, I guess, so on the horizon. So
right. But the winds can dissipate that if it's too small.
True. They don't use fire there.
That's right. It's really warm.
Let me just check my potions real quick. I know I have some interesting potions here.
I show you with. Do you still have a Bone Men Asleep, Attune, Arcane Augmentation, and Courage?
Yes, and Intangibility.
All right, the new Intangibility.
Mm-hmm.
Which you could, sprint through the landslide.
Yeah. All right. I think we want to try the double bridge of light navigating over the landslide.
Okay.
Shot. Now I guess if something happens, then it might be my horse gone. I don't know, but.
Okay. Well, let's give you a nice, let's assume you're going to just really concentrate.
Yes.
Really nice roll could make the bridge even more successful, longer than even your ability to cast it, if you see what I mean. And so, if that's your goal, like to make it more level, a longer bridge means it's safer to, it's a gentler slope to reach the height of the avalanche. Mm-hmm. So let's give you the full 6 rounds of concentration.
Yes.
And that gives you a plus 25 to your roll, which I'll take care of the math on that. All right. So, do you want a drum roll? We haven't done a drum roll in a while. Do you want?
I will do the drum roll for the descending bridge.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna need that's the one that if this one fails, then okay, whatever.
That's right. Do it.
79.
79. Very nice. So yeah, you got an additional like 10 feet off that thing. So it's nice and safe. It's a good slope to traverse. So I'm not going to have you roll. You just ride up to the top. There's a drum roll from Karen. Just Obi-Wan Karen there. You get on top. No problem. Again, picking your route very carefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. At first, you just mistake them for stones, and then you realize those aren't stones. Those are baked clay shingles.
Oh.
There and there's some of a different color and size and shape. So it may very well be that it swept some houses from higher up. No clear evidence of like, oh, there's an obvious sort of shoulder of the mountain there that they could be resting. They could have rested on. There's no sort of clear, sense of where they were along the line, but clear evidence of former habitations that were destroyed. All right, roll. Give me 3 rolls, picking your way across. Are you leading your horse or are you riding?
We'll lead. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So, lead my horse across. 11. Shall I roll the other 3 like immediately?
Go ahead and roll the next one. It takes you a really long time with the first leg of the journey.
Okay. 33. It's 3 times better.
All right. Again, slow, but you're making progress.
And 82.
Ooh. Next set is much leveler, much finer soil that's been able to be leveled by rains and held in place by the vegetation. Mm-hmm. Fewer just giant boulders that you have to squeeze through and lead your horse around and all this kind of stuff. So you make it to the edge. It's it looks like you don't even need a second bridge of light. You will be able to just it'll be a little out of your way, but you can go a little upslope and then swing down off this landslide and follow your dreams.
Oh, yeah, I dream of landslides.
I think we all do.
Destruction.
That's right. So now the good thing is that if that construct somehow can sense your presence, which seems unlikely, it's got to get past the landslide now.
That's what I was thinking of too. It would be hilarious if it just like runs through the landslide.
You just hear stones being tossed, and like you come back and there's like a tunnel, and you're like, "There's lights." You're like, "What the hell?" It's like wiring.
Funny story. We had a character join us in D&D in another campaign, and like we're all level 13, which is really advanced. Like we've done tons of adventures, so he's like level 13 too to make it even. And I'm like, in game, like my character has like, "Yo, what adventures have you been on?" He's like, "None." And I'm like, "How are you so powerful?" And it's like he said when he went to town, he said he went through the mountains. He's like, "I went through the mountains." He's just there like punching at rock for like a year. He gets him to like super experienced and buff. So
I don't know if you ever watched the. I'm sure it's sort of out of your sort of before your time, but it's still available somewhere to stream. The original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which they just started a reboot of.
Yeah.
But I love if you watch the intro of it, right? Because it was on when I was a kid. So there's one scene in the intro where he runs around a mountain with his sword, okay, and he cuts the mountain just off of the base of from its base of the earth, right? And he gets underneath and he goes, and he throws it into space, right? Yeah. And I've done the math on the mass of a mountain because I was looking at the mass of Saturn's rings and comparing it to a mountain. And I looked at Everest and the calculations on Everest. Anyway, so it's like something like the rings are like 1,000 Everest basically in mass. But anyway, So then later in the same series of this opening sequence, he picks up a rock this big, about the size of a basketball, and he goes, "Ugh," same sound. That was either a
must have been a very
mountain,
dense rock.
styrofoam mountain or very dense rock. That's the only two possible.
The mountain was hollow.
That mountain is marzipan and dreams. That's all that was. Why the hell are we wasting our time with it? But it just cracks me. It just cracks me up. So, anyway.
Right. So we're rolling to get down then off the links.
Yeah, just give me one roll. I just don't flop it unbelievably.
Flop 23.
Oh, that's fine. Takes you a little while. So you are. So that burned a good chunk of the morning away. It's now late morning.
Yeah.
Lala goes on up ahead. So there is a lovely slope that goes down, but there's also a slope that goes ahead that's coming up. You send her back to the sort of break there, and she can't find any signage. You come to the pass. What do you want to do?
Take the low road or the high road?
Oh yeah, I guess quite literally.
Yeah, which way seems more indicative of the sign? Like, does the lower one, curve away, or
the lower? I mean, the sign pointed, straight at this altitude, right?
Right.
And so, if you go just by that, then you take the high road. In terms of getting, lower on the mountain, obviously, the low pass seems to be the logical choice from as far as you can tell.
Yeah, I guess we'll take the low path. See if we just get lower and lower. Because then it should get more level too. The lower it get.
Down you go, past waterfalls and streams. Lala pauses several feet ahead. Path is cutting back and forth. It's keeping you moving steadily downward. On a long stretch of road, there is a clearing higher up the mountain, 50 to 100 feet deep, and she notices something hovering in the air that has got her quite curious, and as well as worried. You need her to go a little closer to see, and she's very unwilling.
Yeah.
It is small. It's, I don't know, about 2 feet across. Its center is what you would swear is a black glass orb. But around it, fanned out, is this beige material, like almost like wood, but with no graining in it. That sort of comes out like points of a star all around it. Roll for me.
26.
You've not heard of these in mythology or in your otherworld lore. But it does turn toward Lala exactly. And you have Lala move back some, and it clearly follows her. You can see other birds in the area, and it is ignoring those birds.
How high up does it look like I could reach it with a bullish shot? I mean, I guess it's hard to estimate that, right? But
the problem is throwing up.
True.
because it's upslope. And you've not done a lot of that, but you can't imagine. I mean,
Can't be easy.
Yeah, I mean it's probably out of range unless it needs to close, or you lure it closer. If there's trouble.
Yeah.
Your spear is gone. You don't have a backup spear, right?
No.
But you do have
I'll have my. Sorry, what's that?
You do have your shield.
Yes. So yeah, I have my dismount my horse, have my shield and bowl at the ready, and we'll try to get a closer look at it myself.
Sure.
Not putting Lowler or my horse in danger, and then walk up slope a bit.
Well, you get a close on her position first because she's several hundred feet ahead.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep her there, and I'll approach.
What you could do is send her further across the passage so this creature turns to her, and then you can close without risking being observed. Do you see what I mean?
Interesting.
Because you don't want to be grouped with her.
Good idea. Good idea. I was
thinking looking at her.
Yeah.
Right. So you want her to move further across, have it turn, and then at least you can close it and hopefully be unobserved.
Yeah, good idea. So we'll try that then. We'll have her
tie up the horse, 75 feet back or so, and then sneak up to the clearing.
Well, okay. I was thinking to sneak past it, but you're thinking of just to get a better look at it for me.
Well, that was my first thought, was that you were going to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my thought was you would sneak to the edge of this clearing, remain in cover as best you can, and observe it, and then make decisions from there.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
That's what I thought you were hoping to do. Because
when you mentioned that, I'm like, I can sneak past him, but you're right, just to get a closer look at it unobserved. So we'll try that.
You could sneak past it, possibly further south when the woods pick up again. But Laula's not scouted that area. Right. So if you would like to try that, then just send Laula back through the woods south of that locale, or not south, down slope of that location.
Yeah. No, let's investigate this thing.
Okay. All right. Roll to sneak. I'll need 2 rolls from you.
55.
Okay.
And 77. A lot of doubles today.
We just watched the original Jumanji, and doubles give you an extra turn.
Yes.
It is observing Lala. Its sort of flank is to you, this creature, this hovering creature. It's about 15 feet in the air above the slope. You get there, and it's close to 100 feet away. There's a sense here and there in the stone of artificiality. You're seeing lines that are way too straight here and there through some of the brush and things like that. So it continues to watch her. It turns slowly upslope and tilts as though it's looking, and then sweeps across your area, and then passes over you, or its gaze, its facing at least, passes over you. And then it focuses again on Lala. What would you like to do?
So am I close enough that I
You're at the edge of the clearing, well hidden. It passed right over you. At least its gaze, it's facing, and it does, the orb itself can be seen from both sides. So this sort of, beige these beige
really
star
weird.
points. That,
yeah.
but it still seems to operate with a front and a back. You know what I mean? Like it has that impression. You get that impression from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm tempted just to like throw a bowl at it.
Sure.
Because it doesn't seem natural, and I don't know of any sorcerers or anything in the area that like this might belong to. It could just be a creature. So
I mean, it could be an interesting question to ask when you get back, right? Are there individuals of power I need to be made aware of?
right, like they're kind of wearing the vetch. Let me see, how am I feeling about like HP and everything? Yeah, I think we'll try to sneak past it. We'll, like you said, take the southern woods where it's more wooded, and just because looking at my resources and my characters ready for another fight right now, kind of
Sure.
trying to get to.
We meant to have you rest at some point. We didn't do that.
True. Well, yeah, I wasn't. I mean, because now that we're over the landslide, that might be good. Yeah, maybe we'll go back a little bit out of its view and take a rest. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about resting, but then the construct would be behind me. But now we've landslide in between us, so
yeah, you got a barrier.
Just to make a little rest for a bit.
So why don't you sneak back to your horse and then allow it to scout that the downslope passage.
Yeah.
It's not too steep, but it is rugged. So it's going to be slow going. But you should be able, there's enough foliage and trees to keep you relatively hidden. Make it back to so give me 2 rolls to sneak away.
14.
Not the quietest you've ever been. Obviously, you've made noise. The creature is out of sight. What do you want to do?
Let's, I mean, if it's out of sight, we should just keep going. It didn't seem to move, so I'll just keep going.
Well, you can't see it to know if it is now heading in your direction. That's why I'm giving you.
Okay, right. But I don't know why it would move, right? Because it didn't move with Laula. So I kind of think like maybe we'll just stay there. Well, okay, why don't we just try to get it back in view and then see what it's doing?
I'm just saying, you've moved some distance and made noise that is unusual, right? I mean, that is, clattering rocks, the sound of movement, you've generated.
Mm-hmm.
But you've moved also such that you can no longer see the creature. So I didn't know if you wanted to check your activity or if you just want to keep going.
Well, yeah, let's check. Let's see.
Because you could turn and see what resources you have. There's decent cover here behind rocks. You could hide here and see if it's coming towards you, and just wait for a while. You could head back, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of out of it. I don't know. A little tired. Let's keep going.
Okay.
I made some noise, but I want to wait and see if it's following me. Let's just try to put distance.
Okay. Give me a roll.
Okay. 91.
Nice. Much better. Make it back. Summon Laula back. Mm-hmm. You've got sort of a general idea now of where to go. And of course, she'll go back in the lead when you command her. So you gain from your rest. You rest for what we would call half an hour. There's no such sort of thing, but so you gain 80. If you not gain 80, you're back up to 80. You gain half back up to your max.
Right. So I'm 49 down. So I would gain 20, 28 or 24.
Yes.
Okay. Puts me at 75. Take it.
No sign of movement. No sounds generally. Time to head to the downslope rugged path.
Let's do it.
Or make a path, I should say. She takes off, follows the path, scouts you out a decent route, and you're just leading the horse through. Just give me 3 rolls. Just roll above a 5 is
23,
no problem.
72, and 86.
You find at the very end, as you're pulling back up toward less rugged areas, you find a broken stone. Not. It's probably an old signpost made of stone where they had carved words, but the words are worn and the post itself is broken, but it's clearly artificial.
Yeah.
Just talking about medieval stuff. I'd watched this QI and they were talking about the fact that I love the show, the British show QI. But anyway, they were talking about people interchangeably use the pillory and the stocks. They interchangeably use those words, and you can't.
Okay.
The pillory.
What are both?
Well, you've seen them. You just don't know what they are. No, the pillory is the famous medieval humiliation and discomfort punishment where you're in the town square.
Right.
With stuck with your hand in your head through a closed hinged board, right? And you stay there for X amount of time. But so they interchangeably use those words, but the stocks were for your feet. So you would sit and they would close on your feet. And I just thought that was interesting just for medieval lore, but also I was wondering about like related to words like stockings for your feet.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, I learned that the other day, and I thought that was interesting for a fellow medievalist like myself. So the writing is too worn on the sign.
Sure, yeah.
Probably says keep out dangerous floating things, but no one knows.
I think floating things have been there a long time then.
That's fine. It broke the sign. I don't want people warned. It's ridiculous. All right.
I do have, this is a spell I've meant to ask you for a long time, and I keep forgetting. But Detect Path, I have a Nature's Law. It says 50-foot radius per level. So will that find any kind of, in that radius, traversable terrain?
Yes. It's going to use, it's going to try to find specifically paths that have been made, worn down.
Yeah.
But it may work in this circumstance. And hey, as it's on your tome, right? It's in a
free to cast. So
then it's just cost you exhaustion to do. So
I'm thinking, I mean, we're it's just like more and more wilderness, right? So we might as well just do a cast of it, see if we can get somewhere back on track.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna try that out. Take out my Nature's Law tome from my bookcase of holding and cast a Detect Path.
All right. So what level is it? I'm sorry.
Level 8.
Okay, roll it up.
Okay. That's a 4. That is not good. I'm not detecting any paths today.
See, this is where we need Josh on the stream to tell you the fun adventure of fumbling with a tome specifically. This massive book of enchantment and wonder. Level 8 too. That's going to be interesting.
Here?
This is exactly why
we don't read on horseback. Don't read and ride.
All right. Well, I'm going to roll a nice little explosion for you or some sort of effect.
Yeah.
Boy, that.
There you go. Should have just kept going, everybody.
Everything's fine. It knocks you backward and you start to fall off your horse. You catch yourself. Not that there was a lot to fall down, but rocks. No one wants to hit their head on a rock. Oh wow! So the tome is generally warm.
Okay.
There might have been a whiff of smoke, but touching it, it seems fine. The page itself, I always envision these things as having, like, each chapter is a spell, and that chapter starts with the actual spell written out, and that page seems undamaged, but you do take 10 damage.
Okay, not too terrible. I fumbled with the tome before as well. I think it was not as badly. It was a lower level spell, but so I'm like, well,
yeah,
good.
Josh had a big fumble. It was very
disastrous.
So, you want to try it again?
I will.
All righty.
Wish I tone scenes. Okay. Here we go. 22. There it is. Double.
A moderate casting. It costs you 16 exhaustion. As the channel powers through you very inefficiently.
You're finding some paths here, Kevin. You're killing me.
It sweeps the area. You get a sense of 2 paths. Roll for me.
42.
They seem to be near the area with the floating orb, but the sense of the direction of the path is into the mountain.
Okay. Into as in like in, like we were saying earlier, into, or as in like towards the mountain range.
No, I mean, it gives you a sense of direction, right? And that they're upslope from you and kind of behind. You're like, that feels like toward them, and the range, because you sort of have a sense now of where they are. The question is, you don't have a sense exactly of where these floating creatures are. The creature is, and so, but the direction you feel, the initial part of the path you can sense, is toward the slope, into the slope.
Okay.
And goes into the body of the mountain.
Okay.
Which certainly suggests that somewhere up there, I mean, the first thought is mine. That's your first thought. And so...
what about the other path?
It is parallel to that one, and it goes in. But those are the only 2 you sense within the range of the spell, which is, not inconsiderable.
Not huge. So that would be taking me back upslope, though. But it might be to some kind of structure inside the mine.
Yes. Now, of course, it can't be surprising that there's a mine here with an ironworks supposedly nearby. Though,
right.
But all of it's sort of immaterial. If it's near the creature, you have another decision to make.
Yeah.
I guess not immaterial. It's just that it does raise another question.
Yeah. Let's. I know I casted the spell. I used it, but let's not take those paths.
No, it's fine. I mean, you can't just. I mean, the question was, is there an easier way? There turns out not to be, and now you know that.
Right. I was like, I don't want to use the path. Where do they go?
Right. Yeah. It's always. Sure. And that is something. It's one of the things that Karandrin is both very successful at. I guess I'm very successful at, but is also a problem is that I can, I will roll these things just in an open world system, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't mean to lead you into danger or distract you from your goals.
Right.
But it's sort of inevitable. And so I don't know exactly what to do with that. I don't know how to manage that.
I mean, part of that tension is why we play role playing. If everything followed a linear course, then it'd be exciting.
Sure.
Storytelling, right? Is twists and turns.
Right.
Literal twists and turns.
Exactly.
So, let's press on ahead in the wilderness, down slope.
Working your way. You go for a number of hours going down. You stop for lunch, so erase a meal. And then you eat Laula, so erase Laula.
Okay.
And
then I suffer a bunch of negative consequences.
That's right. You're
killed my own familiar. That's a great horror mystery for role-playing.
Lala continues to scout. It's been a long, set of hours here. It's now mid-afternoon. You do feel like you're making steady progress down the mountain. You feel like you're on sort of the far side of the mountain from Miagraw's keep and the town and so on, but that can be solved by a road,
Right.
Lala continues to scout ahead. Roll for me.
52.
Very noticeable buzzing sound from behind you and downslope. Sort of down and behind you to the left. Lala is considerably up ahead. What would you like to do? You are on horseback. You're on horseback at this point because the ground has been decent. So just to let you know.
Yeah. Are there? What's the terrain? Are there lots of trees around still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Those not to be too useful.
Glancing back that way. I mean, roll. If you get a crazy high roll, it's just so dense.
83.
Very fast movement that, you follow and you kind of lose it, but the sound is, the sound didn't move nearly as quickly. It's like you expected to just, see something just really go. Yeah. And it really, it stopped very quickly. There's no sense that it's really coming closer.
Okay.
But if that's, clearly it sounds like an insect. But it either is 100 insects, 1,000 insects, or it's large.
Or it's just a tiny cicada.
That's
so
right.
It's a lot of noise.
That's right.
Starts smashing trees. Shut up. I'll take out my flail. Make sure I have that at the ready.
Okay.
And I guess I should dismount from my horse, right? Because if I do get attacked, I don't want to be on horseback. Rather be on the ground where I know how to fight. So let me quickly dismount.
Do you want to tie the horse up or leave it free to flee?
True. I guess we'll tie it up. We'll get off and tie it up.
Your embolden is now done. Your emboldened steed spell is now done. It's been several hours.
Okay.
So
let's jump off and time up quickly.
Okay.
As long as the noise is persisting, yeah.
It comes into sight, moving sort of parallel to your course. It is a large flying insect, bee-like or wasp-like. It is the size of a medium-sized dog.
Oh, Jesus.
Where you might have a stinger, instead you have a knob, a projection that ends with a knob. It goes behind some trees. Roll for me. We'll see if you've ever heard about something like this.
34.
Man, that's really close. You know, you've heard a tale about this.
How about a 35?
Man,
36?
here's what you know. Here's the one thing you remember.
Okay.
Is that would-be stinger instead throws a sticky, gooey web. It traps prey that way. And you do have an uneasy sense that they are not kind.
Okay. And it's moving quickly, I guess, just through
It sort of, it darts, it's you're like, that's probably as fast as my horse could gallop, but that's on level ground. That's as fast as my horse could gallop. There's no way I could outrun it on this stuff, with my skill. And it doesn't have to worry about terrain.
Right. Well, I guess we better take this thing out then, because if I keep going, it's gonna see me and won't be any good. Or we could just hide a little bit and wait and see if it.
Sure, you can try to outlast it.
So
yeah,
let's.
Do you, for the sake of hiding, just so your horse doesn't get spooked, do you want to embolden the steed?
Yeah, good idea. Because that's pretty low level, I think. Second level.
Okay.
Okay, so I will cast that. 64.
No problem. Got another set of almost 2.5 hours on that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, more than, right?
Yeah, about 3. Yeah.
Horse is visibly calmed. You're like, oh, you're kind of learning like the physical signs. You're like, oh, he's not. It was a little tremble to him, and you thought, well, it's just fatigue. And you're like, no, that was a little discomfort around this strange creature. Well, tell you what do we do a break, and then we'll come back to the exciting adventure of extermination that Karandrin has become.
Yeah, giant insects. Let's do it. So
all right. Gang, just hang with us for a few minutes. Go get you something to drink, preferably alcoholic. It is a weekday. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us through the break. I hope you had a delicious beverage and you got it refilled. And now you're ready for this large insect
Giant insects, yes.
to kill Brise.
Gotta love it. I battled spiders. Now it's time to ticks.
That's right.
Everything. Met centipede. There are a lot of giant insects in Karandrin.
I really like them. I gotta admit,
Insects are such fascinating creatures, but they're typically just so small, and it's like you can't really appreciate them as much as like mammals.
Right. I enjoy doing those, and otherworldly. I like doing that a lot. That's a thing. Undead and demons too. Those are other favorites of mine. So
very positive. Yeah, very good.
Quinn is positive that he's ready for a giant bug to kill you, which I don't know. But given our internet problems, I don't know that anything using a web is going to be very functional today. But
yeah, it shoots the web. Just our connection just like stutters out.
That's right. Obi-Wan Karen just said that her character in Karandrin certainly experienced some interesting bugs. And I'm sure that the streaming audience would love to see more of your character.
Tangled up.
That's so we just need to wait for Obi-Wan to get her shit together and start streaming. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Obi-Wan? Have anything to say to that? Just another NO period.
That's all we get. So, all righty. So
Constable Steed, I'm going to try to hide, take some cover, and see if this thing just meanders off.
Trees are decent for Bola. It shouldn't be too many problems. I think what I'll do is I'll just give him a slightly higher defensive bonus, and then if you roll on the low side, then we'll say that it probably hit a tree. Oh, funny! Come on, Obi-Wan. Yeah, you gotta give them the mysteries that she's experiencing, not merely the mystery that is what her character might be.
Ooh.
You know what? I think what we're going to do is Max and I are going to do a separate stream in which we replay Mara's adventures, which is Obi-Wan's character, and what we'll do is we'll pantomime it, right? We'll go through it, and we'll make Mara just seem completely stupid. And,
I was going to say, like, we'll do like a cartoon where at the end of every episode I just like die. Just like, oh, that's all. But then we just continue next week, just whatever.
Karandrin a la South Park is what I'm hearing.
Exactly,
yeah. So Quinn's arguing that ditching that deadbeat husband of Obi-Wan's would be a major step forward, but I can't think of anyone who would disagree with that. So let's. So the Mr. Buggy Bug is flying about. Roll for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is moving indirectly closer.
6. Is that how well it flies?
I need you to roll for that for me. Well, does it fly? Damn gummit, I forgot to print off that one page I wanted to print off. Man. All right. One day I'm going to have a multi-screen setup and not need to print anything out. But right now I need to. So it darts through some trees. You're like, whoa, that's aggressive. And you sort of lose it in the trees thanks to your 6. And then there is a kind of puff of air sound. And your horse gets hit in the hindquarters with a web. The web is not quite large enough to even completely enmesh it. But it has sort of anchored it. One of the strands has contacted a tree. The rest are sort of all over the back end of the horse. Um, there's a couple of high screeches. Um, from no doubt this giant wasp or bee. What would you like to do?
Well, now seems like the perfect time to attack it. Well, it's distracted with my bait. I mean, my horse.
My friend, what?
Do I know what direction? So I want to try to get behind it, and
Right. So you should basically chart because you were watching it forward.
Yeah.
It's and then it darts this way, but you lose it in the trees. But obviously the shot came from that way.
Yeah.
So logically, going forward and then swinging around, you should be able to catch it in the back.
Let's do it.
The question is, are you going to sneak?
Yeah. I think it's going to try to be busy with the horse.
The horse is, I mean, it's bucking some, and it's really irritated. It breaks the strand off. You take off. Roll the sneak.
74. I like Quinn's comment. Well, if the horse dies, there's no reason to not just teleport back.
I thought
someone's not enjoying this adventure.
Now, Quinn, given his past comments, I expected Quinn to say, if the horse dies, shouldn't you just go ahead and kill Brise? The horse has no rider. I mean, no one's using the horse, so you can see it somewhat through some trees. You are to its flank, not yet to its side. That is really funny. Oh, that's really funny. So channeling would work from here. Bola at this angle, the bola is bad. Trees are too tightly packed at this vantage point, so you could continue to swing around. It has not turned towards you. Next round, let's just roll for initiative, and then we'll just. Well, actually, why don't you tell me what you want to do next round?
We'll do channeling.
Yeah, you're going to channel from this location,
and
I have to roll weirdly for the horse and for the giant insect.
What's Judas going to do?
That's right. That's right. He offers 12 silver to the insect.
Please let me go.
So roll it up.
22.
All right. Hilariously.
Again, we need that bingo, like 11, 22, 33. I think I've only not hit 44 and 66.
We'll do bingo. We should have our own word, though, right? So instead of bingo, which is what, bingo, so it's 5, we should find something else. Like, I guess magic would be 5.
Magic.
And all unique letters. We could do something like that. Oh, so stupid of me. Brise is 5 letters, all unique.
Very true.
B-R-S-I. No.
Or if this was before we ever started streaming, but begone was a key word.
That's right. When you
time was just see something you don't like, begone.
That's right. Brise had ambushed a thief and beating up this old man, and we joked about her becoming a superhero for that particular city, and her catchphrase was "begone." All right, channeling. Let me do some math in me head. And how much power? That is the wrong book, Kevin. How much power are you putting in this thing?
I am putting in 8 power.
Double power. I don't care what they say. You're a good player. All right. Roll it up.
Oh, 89. Nice.
89.
That is a good roll.
That is a good roll right there. Not good for our busy little bee. Oh my goodness.
Brise causing the death of bees.
Um, who wants to roll a critical? Is it you? Is it you who would like
I
to
mean,
roll a critical?
Quinn, you want to roll it? I don't know if anyone cares.
Oh,
Hey,
that's hilarious.
Quinn, why don't you roll and put the number in the chat? Just types 2.
Roll your critical.
93. Oh boy.
Oh.
And B is toast.
Yeah, I don't know why I would bother going through the rest of it. It goes a little low, but shears off two of the largest legs. The blast just shears it off. It's spinning. It's got blood everywhere. It hovers and turns toward you. I'm not going to really let it do its thing. Well, I need to let it go ahead and do its thing, but it hits your horse again a little more effectively. You shoot it again. I mean, it was stunned for 6 rounds.
Yeah.
It
would fight it.
It would fight at minus 90. So I'm like, it's fine if we just say, you close in and club it. Nice. Yeah, these ambush attacks are always very effective because it cuts their defenses. So bravo, down it goes. Your horse is struggling with the second blast.
39. I rolled 93. I think it's a joke.
Well, I think we know that you and Quinn are definitely the opposites in terms of things.
Forces. Yeah.
So the horse is calm, more or less, but its neck now is caught, and with your line and this webbing, it is having a challenge, and it's whinnying and making noise.
Okay.
So I think you need to go help your horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go over there, take out your dagger, roll to cut him out.
61.
Difficult. You really have to pull and cut at the same time. The ooze comes out as you start cutting and repairs itself if you take too long.
Yeah.
So roll for me.
35.
It occurs to you that maybe some potion guys might be interested in some of the webbing.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Some of the webbing and maybe even the apparatus that it has, like the glands.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. The projector. Yeah. Well, what would you like to do in regards to that?
Well, this is interesting. I'll definitely take some webbing. However, in terms of, I realize, because I got from the Strethros, that dog kind of spiked dog creature earlier.
Yes.
Brise being like a cleanly, I definitely like neatness and cleanliness. Would I be averse to, doing this, to this bee here?
Roll for me.
Because if it's on the exterior, cut off a leg, but if I have to get in there, I wonder if I would.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you, of course. If you're, there's no way to know what you're going to find when you get there. There's no way to know what the potionists may need.
Right.
So, if you need to get in there, let's imagine the worst and roll for me.
Okay. 15.
You don't feel like you have enough water to clean yourself afterward if you have to get in there.
Yeah.
So that still leaves then just grabbing it by the tail and chopping off the exterior part of the tail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you going to put the webbing? Let's start with that. Do you have files?
I am going to, I was looking at my items here. I'm pretty sure I have some empty sacks that I could just toss one into. Yeah, here we go. So I have an empty sack here. I'm just going to throw a little sample of the webbing in. Webbing. So that goes in there.
You see that Quinn agreed that you are his opposite because he's a good player who deserves to live?
Oh, man.
I forget I had the ability.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Isn't that fun? I can just post it up like that.
Wow, you can do a little chat thing. That's funny.
Isn't that cool?
Win for the win, 76. Yes, we are opposites. Oh, well, Quinn said he's not a pretty princess, so he's calling me a pretty princess. So thank you.
But at least your character is definitely a pretty paladin. But
I want to be a princess.
I've known Quinn for many, many years, and I can tell you, when he really gets dolled up, he's quite the little princess. So
I've known him for 2 months.
And hate him already. So
throw the sample of that, and then we'll try to just work off the tail.
Did you find a vial to put the webbing in? Otherwise, you're kind of, no pun intended, stuck.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you'll put in a vial. Yeah.
My point is, you have a vial.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so go and chop this thing off. Just, don't roll a 1.
Okay. 26.
All right, comes off. There's a little bit of mess, but it's an oozing sort, not a spraying sort. So there you go. So yeah, it just oozes, but what the ooze does not congeal into a web. How do you want to store this thing?
That's a good question. I can, I guess, put some of the ooze in a vial. Yeah, and feast on it.
Stomach, yeah.
We'll vial up some of the ooze. Separate vial for that.
I mean, if you've got extra clothes, you could wrap it in there. If you've got
or I could because if it's all ooze, then I can't really do anything. It just gets soaked through, right?
Well, that's why you wrap it a lot. You put it in the bag and then you wrap it. You roll the bag up.
Okay.
You have a free sack?
I do. So I'll just use that then. So I'll just throw that in a separate sack.
Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. You were frozen for a minute.
It was so powerful, the audio waves just froze me.
That's
so
it.
Throw that into an empty sack. Oozing heart.
Okay.
Oozing. So,
I forgot that we've been giving you creature names just in brackets, which is, for our audience, that's the code. So in terms of your experience notes and things like that, we need to kind of go back a little bit, and let me just tell you. So the floating object in brackets, please, you say that's your first observation of a called a dark star, and the this little guy in brackets is a web wasp.
Cool.
Quinn has this is a fairly long post by Quinn. I'm wondering how the captions will handle it. Let me put it up there. So he had a question, more of an idea. Maybe Max team up with some ninjas and try to discover the secret of the ooze. I really thought he would like to discover the secret of the ood.
Well, here's the thing. Does Karandrin have ninjas? And if it doesn't, why are we playing it?
You could really ask that question at any stage of playing this game. Why am I playing this? Just to get beat down?
So yeah, I'm just annotating my notes a second here. I'm going to put Dark Star. Yeah, there it is. A Dark Star, and then Web Blast. Okay. Well, cool. This thing's harvested. I think I can just be on my way then.
Roll for me.
23.
Okay. Your horse is still kind of tense. You concentrate. The spell is still fine, still operating. Oh, funny. Obi-Wan's bragging that her character is an awesome ninja.
Yeah.
An awesome ninja, yes, but a coward also. You notice that the horse is still tense.
Okay. Well, Might as well just take off, put some distance. I guess Laula could do a quick search around the perimeter, see if she kind of spots or hears anything before we take off. Call her back.
Sure. She flits, she flies. She returns to you.
It's when I feel like the knockoff Witcher. I don't know if you've ever played or read the books, but like he's always collecting like monster parts and like turning them into potions. It's like,
oh, funny.
That, but like more interactive.
Obi-Wan Karen. Well, I'm just gonna post this. I'm gonna post this up here. When I said she was a coward. Well, Obi-Wan, I don't know where you live in the country. But if I knew, and if you were brave enough to meet me, then I would absolutely say it to your big dumb face. But that's, I guess it'll just never happen, So, I know you're going to try to dox.
It's a small world, Kevin. You never know.
You never know. Tomorrow. You never know. It's not like you know where I sleep. Okay, you're not anyway, or with whom. But the Max, don't give away our secret. But the so Laula does some spirals, right? And she stops. Roll for me.
58.
There is a bolt of terror from her. A sense that like she knows exactly what she's looking at, kind of a thing. And it is definitely an old tree next to an old hut covered in webs. And it's several hundred yards down the slope. And it's got 6 or 8 web wasps flying around it. There is clearly a skeletal remnants of a person. Possibly an adventurer, definitely somebody armed, held together and just draped in the webbing. But she does not want to go closer.
I don't blame her.
Roll for me.
17.
I'm going to leave this Obi-Wan post up. I really like that. That really makes me happy.
It's more useful than whatever was up there before.
That's right. So the I'm sorry, what did you roll?
17.
17. So clearly she's seen these before and she does not like them. Roll for me again.
Right. 17.
All right, good on you. What would you like to do with Laula?
Consistently bad. I will. So, what she's looking at is in the general direction of where we're going.
Well, it's hard to say. You're doing a switchback back and forth. True, just working your way down the safest way you can down this side of the mountain.
Well, it might be good to keep Laula there, and then we'll proceed, the horse and I, and then I can kind of reference our position, with her staying where she is until we're past the hut. I don't want
roll for me.
35.
So it may be that the horse can hear that buzzing from that distance.
Yeah.
And so you might have an auto detect system here with the horse.
Yeah, it's like an old game. They have like rumble, and then like you get closer, like rumbles more, and then it rumbles.
Right. That's exactly it.
Trembles more. A little bit.
The question, if the horse really just starts peeing everywhere in its costume, then you've really gotten too close to it. Oh, I've got a cord stuck on my foot. There we go. But yeah, you're welcome to leave her down there, and you could, you could try to really limit your switchbacks, right, and just try to go one long direction.
Yeah.
So I guess you would turn here and just head down a little bit, and cut somewhat lower to them, but then go away from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So you're just kind of winging it, no pun intended, and leaving her in place. It's really distracting for you to ride, and Obi-Wan's threatening me.
And read comments. Read threats in the comments.
That's right. So the like her fear is just too powerful for you to ride safely, even lead the horse safely. You need to get her away from there, and summon her back, because increasingly you're reaching the conclusion that these creatures must, not surprisingly, just easily trap birds and eat them.
Okay. Yeah, we'll pull her back then.
So you just, you let her scout. She starts getting afraid. You've sort of gone too close.
Yeah.
And you sort of stay. But you're making very good progress. But you don't see how you're going to make it back to Miagraw's keep at this rate before end of day.
Yeah.
So it is now. It's now late afternoon. There's only going to be a couple hours of light left. The question is, do you camp and teleport, or do you say, you know what, I'm just going to keep going and be late for Aldrich's homecoming?
Let's press on, because now is like the earliest date he was going to be here, so
right.
There's a good chance there could be delayed. I mean, I kind of like want to, but I feel like it's like no, let's not use the teleport. Let's.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you roll? Let's have you make a roll, see if you can rein in your impatience.
Yeah, good point. 89.
All right, you're like, it's going to be fine. The odds that he's there, it's okay. I'm still got some adventuring to do just in the travel itself.
Yeah, let's bring this to closure.
So by nightfall, you definitely feel like you're off the mountain. You're in the valley.
Okay.
From various vantage points on the mountain, as you made it down, you could still catch glimpses of that road that you could see from the people of the soil, from their altar / sort of lookout.
Yeah.
So I assume that's where you want to head.
Right. We want to get back to that road.
So that seems to lie, watching the setting sun, that seems to lie sort of southeast of you now. And so you do your best to cut across the valley toward that. As you travel, you come across another set, just as the light is sort of fading, another set of statues, very similar to the ones by the manor. Hey, Arpin. Welcome.
Hello.
For our audience, back up at the manor where Brise was exploring, there was downslope from there, clearly meant to be appreciated from the ledge the manor sat upon. There was a set of 4 statues. There was some sort of large raptor bird There was some sort of more squat bird, possibly like an owl, something like that. There was a long neck sort of bird, like a waterfowl, with its with a sort of very graceful arching neck. And there was the figure, a humanoid figure, holding two daggers out, snakes at her feet. And we have come across that figure again, earlier in the dwarven mansion, the dwarven town of Brynneloth, which was a long abandoned town from many millennia ago. And we know that that figure is a religious figure called the Iron Empress. And it seems to have been worshipped by people in this region as well. And again, you find 4 statues. Roll for me.
78.
Clearly by a different artist. Roll again.
8.
You think of greater skill. This artist is just better. It is 4, the 4 statues, right? 3 birds and the humanoid.
Okay.
They're about 15 feet high. They're in a very tight arc. It's sort of like you've ridden into maybe an old temple square or something like that, maybe a retreat, a monastery that is long gone. Roll.
54.
What strikes you is
An arrow.
yeah, that's right. What strikes you is that it's clearer to see the pose here of the raptor. You would call it absolutely an eagle, and it's absolutely what the people of the soil had painted.
Oh, wow. Wow. They had a giant mural of a raptor-like bird. Same pose. Wow.
Which, if they had seen these here and there, they may have adopted it. It may have fed into their mythology for thousands of years.
Yeah.
More worrying to you is, is there one of these walking around such that they, that it enforced its will? The waterfowl, now that you can examine it at this range and just very closely, and you're pulling off vines and stuff and taking a look, clearly a swan. No question about it. It's a swan. There's no writing on any of them. There are no bird symbols, which kind of surprise you if it were at least a residential set of altars, right? Kind of think they would kind of lay claim to it with a symbol. The squat bird is definitively an owl.
Okay.
So an eagle, an owl, a swan, and the Iron Empress herself.
Okay.
The eagle and the owl, very tellingly, have dead snakes lifted in one claw. And are glaring menacingly at the Iron Empress.
The Empress just shrugging her shoulders.
These are my daggers now.
Flipping off, giving the birds the bird.
That's right.
It's interesting.
Man, there's something in the bushes beyond the window here. I can hear it moving around in there.
Spooky statues.
It's a web wasp. Run.
Yeah.
You sort of do just sort of a casual circle around the area.
Yeah.
Set back from this arc of figures, there are benches.
Okay.
That are almost, I mean, they've almost just become, mounded with soil, as you get runoff and just leaves piling around them and decaying. They're almost submerged under their own mulch beds.
Yeah. I was going to ask about the Iron Empress. Is it the same like daggers facing outwards?
It is. The snakes are sort of done in more detail. I don't know if you would recognize them. Oh, you absolutely recognize them. Wow, what a roll. Whoa, what a roll. I'll let you know when I'm stopping rolling. That is a 246.
Wow.
So absolutely, the snakes are, all of them are the deadliest snakes of the area around your town. Around Grattenlau, that whole mountain, the very super rugged, hilly region that you grew up in, not far from these very mountains, although you're further north. Yeah. So there's 3 different species depicted here. And if it matters to you, I'll give you names for them. So there's a painted rattler is one.
Painted rattler.
There's the hollowbane.
Hollowbane.
That's right.
What do you mean? Oh, like a hollow. Oh, that's cool.
And a westlet, Weslet. The westlet is, it's around creeks, wet areas, lakes. It can swim.
Cool. It's an interesting role. Yeah, I know those. Seen them
right.
around. Yeah.
It's like ones probably you were warned of in your youth, and
yeah.
Brother
like caught one, chopping it up.
Well, yeah, that's how I grew up. I grew up in a very rural area, and so like you're taught like, don't mess with that. If you see this, and you get all these warning signs. And so we had a cousin riding one of our bikes in front of our house, and I forget if it was a copperhead or if it was a water moccasin. Snapped at him as he was riding by, but because he was barefoot and because he was pedaling, it was one fang scratched his toe.
Ha! Wow.
And so we still ran out there with a hoe and killed the snake and took him to the hospital.
Yeah.
But he was fine. But
oh my goodness.
But yeah, it's sort of part of country life is knowing those things.
Instead of being in the city and getting like mugged. I think I'd rather do snakes sometimes.
I don't know what a subway is.
Crashing into you.
That's right.
Oh gosh. All these the snake's trying to fend for itself.
That's right.
We're doing it. Oh right, so the Iron Emperor statue. And, circling around him.
So yeah, it's really no other sign of like road or anything like that. You expected to find some foundations. Maybe they believed in sort of outdoor art as a method of worship, and that was a method of maybe what's the word? Not worship, but devotion to the god, right? So yeah, here they are. What would you like to do?
Seems like a good place to camp around all these nice statues.
I mean, if you want, sure. It's relatively level.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, we'll set up camp, and I guess we can sort of call it a night here.
It's probably too late to do any reading, I guess.
No, I think you probably have time. But I'm saying we could roll all that up. We can handle all that and knock that out. So, well, there you go, gang. He is off the mountain and headed toward a road and hopefully headed the right direction. So he somehow, gang, survived again. He's ambushing critters left and right. Um, so just a little behind the scenes game mastery stuff, right? So it sent out a cry. That was that screech that it made. The wasp made the screech to summon the others because there's a nice big juicy horse and it can't take it down by itself. And I rolled for the others to hear, and I rolled like a -45.
Nice.
So I was expecting to be kind of a fun, like 3 or 4, like they keep pegging the horse and you're having to take them out. And I thought it'd be a real fun battle, but the sons of bitches didn't even hear. So pretty funny.
Wow.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it as always.
A really quick PSA too. I don't know if anyone's heard, because I saw our pen is using the Twitch emojis. Twitch, they got a big data breach. So if you have Twitch, you should change your password.
Do
stuff.
Such a considerate thing. I did not even think about doing that. Well done, sir.
Our 5 or 6 viewers,
that's right. You know what I'll do too is I'm going to write a caption for it. And what we'll do is we'll put it up and it'll be
for our deaf viewers.
That's right. Well, I guess for people who stay at the end, right, we'll do, so it was a Twitch breach. What's the date today? October 6th?
6th, yeah.
Is that right? Well, I got to get my glasses. All right. There. Boop. Oh, got a stupid network error now. So I can't post the...
the hackers, they're onto us. They don't...
Man. No, that's funny. This time I'm going to copy it. So let's see if it'll let me post. No, I can't do it. Sorry, gang. I tried to do it. So hey, everybody change your passwords on Twitch. There was a big data breach today. And that is the world we live in. So, yay. Change your password. Why don't you say that to her face? But we're very grateful for you guys hanging out with us once again. Next week's stream will be canceled. I've got all kind of family obligations I got to take care of. But we should be back on the 20th, therefore. As always, thanks, and go check out our various links. And thanks also to of course, the fantastic Elliot Dunovitz. Oh, I got to hide that. It's going to block our stuff.
Brise why would you say that?
There we go. But Elliot Dunovitz, who did the terrific character art, go check out her stuff at the link down there below. You can also find those links in the description and notes for the YouTube channel and for Twitch. And always go check out Max on YouTube as he talks about the role of music in video games and the original soundtracks therein. And just thanks for hanging out with us. Go visit the new website too, you punks, and do all kind of crazy stuff. And we will be back in 2 weeks.
Right? Is that right?
Karandrin.com.
I always forget .org.com. .com.
Right. Has had a breach today. Who posted that? Cheater. Thanks everybody. We really appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I hope you have a great October until we see you again. Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Everybody, stay safe out there, and hope to see you in a couple weeks. Some more Karandrin role playing.
That's right. Thank you guys, and we will see you next time.